Believe it or not, one of the reasons you're probably not hitting the fairway is because you simply just do not have the driver aimed correctly. Today I'm going to show you why traditional drivers are difficult to aim, but more importantly, the process that you can go through to make sure your driver is aimed correctly every single time. Traditional drivers, or all drivers really, of course, are the longest clubs in the bag and they have the least amount of loft. But here's something that you probably don't know if you look closely. If you look closely at a driver, the front edge kind of has some what we call bulge and roll to it. Now, they do that because, believe me, it makes driving easier, but I'm not here to talk about all that today. When they do that, it makes it more difficult to aim the club face correctly. Think about like an iron. If you hold an iron up, you can see a nice square leading edge and it's very easy to aim. But when you hold a driver up like this, it's curved and it's rounded. There's no square straight line. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is it's difficult to aim a traditional driver, long drivers, because the club shaft is longer. And when the club is longer and it lays lower, the face orientation moves around a little bit. So that's why you might just instinctively be not aiming the driver correctly. So let me teach you a process to get this driver aimed correctly every single time. This first tip I picked up by watching Greg Norman, one of the all-time great drivers of the golf ball. And if you watch him closely, if you go back and look at old swings, what you'll see is this. He will aim the face first, holding the club with just his trail hand like this. And this is the process that I teach my students. So when you come in, aim the club face first, holding the driver with just your trail hand. Because the most important thing is that this is aimed correctly. Of course, your feet, your hips, your shoulders, that's important. But the most important thing, the king of the hill, is the club face. Because if the club face isn't aimed correctly, nothing else matters. I'm gonna go ahead and set it in there with my trail hand. Now, on the Max Vert 2, of course, we put a line on top because we believe, of course, that aiming is huge in terms of importance to finding the center of the fairway. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take that white line and point it right down the center of the fairway, just like that, all right? Then I'm gonna go ahead and place my feet and put them in position. So, trail hand only, aim it down the center of the club face, down the center of the fairway, and then go ahead and settle in. The second step to this process has to do with how you rotate your head. And this is very true also when we do putting videos and things like that. And I got my main man, Nick, behind the camera. Nick, give him a thumbs up, man. Okay, so Nick gave us a thumbs up for this video. You make sure you give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. And our favorite question, we love hearing where you're from. Go ahead and put that in the chat because we're helping golfers all over the world. What should we be doing with our head? Now here's the key. I want you to watch this. Nick's gonna show you the difference here. I'm aiming the club face first, trail hand only, point it down the center of the fairway. I get set in. Now watch my head movement. This would be correct. Notice how my head does, rotates. This would be incorrect. See the difference? Let me do it again. Correct. Incorrect. Did you see the difference there? Because that little difference in how that head rotates is hugely important when it comes to aiming the club face. So let's tie this together. Because if you're missing the fairway and it's not your golf swing, all right, it's just simply how you're aiming the club face. This is what we want to be talking about here today. Club face aimed, trail hand only. Look down the line. There we go. Set my feet in there. Okay, now when I look, I'm going to look down the line. There we go. How's that look, Nick? Look pretty good? All right, Nick gave me a thumbs up. Let me go ahead and hit it. Oh, yeah. I'll take that. That's that nice high draw that I'm looking for. Now that we've got you aiming your driver correctly, check out my next video. And if you want to personally work with us on your golf game, check out vlscoaching.com.